Hello, everyone, and welcome to a new episode of the show. I'm Gwen, and this is a show all about creating and allowing in all the awesome things in life. I need to start off today's episode with absolutely awesome news. I got a new car. Do a new car. It's not brand new, but it's new to me, and it's amazing. Thank you. This may be one of the greatest, most joyful, most happy moments of my life. Dramatic? Yes. But as I will share in this episode, this is more than just a car. This is an absolutely amazing life lesson, and some amazing learnings have unfolded in allowing this new car into my life. So let me share the story with you. I am a late bloomer when it comes to driving a car. To share a bit of context, I moved to the heart of downtown Toronto when I was 17, and I didn't have my driver's license. I didn't have the time when I was 16 or a vehicle to really learn on, because there was like one or two cars for my family, all of us sisters. It was just a lot of people, not a lot of time for driving. So didn't get my license. Then when I was in my early 20s, I decided it's time to take driver's ed and it's time to learn to drive. So I got my learner's permit, AKA G1, and then my G2 so I could drive by myself. But then life got busy and it expired before I could get my full license. So that sucked, but I assumed I would get it again. I'm like, oh, I'll just get it again soon. But life got busy. I didn't necessarily need a car when I lived in the heart of Toronto, and I didn't also want to buy one. Like there was no desire to drive really. So flash forward probably more than 10 years. And right now I moved out of Toronto and I live in a suburb. And you know what? In a suburb, you kind of want to be able to drive. You don't have to. There's still buses and Uber, but the desire to drive was within me. The trouble was I had a lot of resistance to actually getting my license again. I felt shame, embarrassment, just I'm too old for this, just an intense pressure I was putting on myself. And I just felt, man, I even took driver's school again, and it was so interesting sitting in some of the Zoom classes, and people are truly half my age or younger than half my age in the class. And I just thought, wow, I should have done this earlier. So I had to just kind of move through some of those uncomfortable emotions and ended up moving through it, getting some great training through driver's ed. And I ended up getting my learner's permit, my G1 again in June of 2022. Then I started to take some in-car lessons with an instructor who was driving an automatic car. And we had a great experience driving together. And I loved driving this automatic car. Now here's where it got sticky. Whenever I would want to practice on my own home car, our car was a stick shift, AKA a manual car, AKA one of those, if you're not even familiar, if you're too young, basically, you need to push your foot into a pedal and you're constantly moving your foot and arm into gear. So it's a little bit more challenging. That is for sure. So I would find myself so inconsistent when I was learning to drive on the stick shift. Sometimes I would get good for a minute, and other times I would just be stalling and chugging, and literally it would make me burst into tears or just be so mad at myself. Like, how can I not get this? How can I not figure this out? Truly, such a disempowering feeling. Pretty much every time I got out of the car, even if I did good, I just thought, I didn't like this. Like, I just really did not enjoy this, and really trying to trick myself and find ways to like it. And I do things like just 10 minutes a day, down to just even sit in the car once a day and visualize driving. I would do, what else would I try? I would try having Sunday drives or picking a day of the week where I drive, and just, I started to feel less and less confident, and also just hate it more and more. Now, here's where it also gets challenging when there's something like this that you have in your life. Despite the fact that I said I genuinely don't like this, I was receiving a lot of external messages that I really bought into. Messages like, oh, it's the best way to learn, or you won't regret knowing how to do this, or it's good to know in case of emergencies, or you're quitting too soon. You need to give it more time and practice. There's a lot of truth here, but it wasn't truly ringing true to me in my soul. And I realized that me trying and trying to get this for over a year really was a mix of three things. It was people pleasing, desperately wanting to please family members who had many of them had learned to either drive a stick shift or wanted to. So there was just people that were kind of really rooting for me because they could figure it out. And they're like, you can figure it out. You're smart. And I am. It just was not clicking. The second thing is ego. There was a real part of me that was trying to learn this for an ego type motivation, such as feeling special or maybe even a little more superior, like, oh, I can drive a stick shift. Can you? I really wanted to get there and be able to say I could do it. And also believing that it's important to learn through suffering sometimes versus learning through enjoyment. I am a big fan of David Goggins, who truly believes, the author, former Navy SEAL, trainer of ultra marathons or runner of ultra marathons. And so, I got to push through this. What would David Goggins do? He would push through it. And I don't know how how it lands with him on this train. Maybe he actually secretly loves it. But for me, I just kept allowing myself to suffer and push through versus having a joyful experience. So after a year of trying, what was the catalyst to having me go from stick shift to automatic? And of course, along the way, when I was driving the stick shift, I was asking my husband, Josh, can we please get an automatic? Can it happen? But it just never felt like I was kind of like pleading more than, having a strong conviction in me asking. So the catalyst was somebody close to me in my life had gotten sick and had to go to the hospital. And they told me that after they were out of the hospital. And I just thought to myself, if it had been serious enough for me to need to go there to help them out at the hospital, I couldn't have got myself there very easily without a car. And so that was the moment for me of, okay, we got to make a change here. We got to make a shift. It's time to get that automatic. It was just all the energies were a heck yes, hell yes, to getting that automatic vehicle. And what I also found was talking to Josh, he had a knee injury. And so the stick shift was also, he's willing to try the automatic as well for his own personal enjoyment. So within weeks, searched online, found a great used car, and we got one. And it is basically my Porsche, but it is a black Honda Civic, good old reliable, gorgeous, beautiful car that is an absolute joy to drive. When I was driving it home from when we purchased it, it was the middle of rush hour and we were stopping and going at every light. And most people on the road were probably so annoyed at how much we were stopping and going. I was loving it. I just thought, y'all don't understand. I usually had to stop and go with my stick shift. Now I can just press the brake and then press the gas and just focus on the road and focus on the lights and not focus on me doing all the things. I cannot tell you the level of joy that has been bubbling up from this beautiful experience. And so what I have really learned is that I am somebody who no longer needs to stick with it simply because somebody outside of myself says, oh, this is good for you. I now trust my own wisdom and will truly listen to know what is good for me. And knowing also that it is okay to learn through joy versus learning through suffering. Think about it. A stick shift and an automatic are both vehicles to get me where I want to go. And yes, a stick shift is phenomenal for some people, but it's also not right for everyone. Think of it like exercise or something like that. There's so many different types of exercise. If you hate Pilates, why force yourself to learn Pilates when walking is perfect for you? Or if you don't like olives, why force yourself to eat olives when there's other types of foods that can fulfill the same energy needs? Why do we got to force ourselves to do something when there is an automatic solution that's right behind what we're forcing ourselves to do? So part of the reason I'm recording this is to really invite you to take a look at your life and see if there's anything that you absolutely hate doing, and just see, hey, am I forcing myself to do this because somebody somewhere says this is good? Maybe it's therapy. Maybe you think, oh, I got to go to therapy. You don't have to go to therapy, perhaps. Or maybe it's you're being forced to, I don't know, what's something people are forced to do? Maybe you're forced to budget or something like that. And you have your own way of keeping track of your money, but someone's telling you, you got to use this Every Dollar app because it worked for me. So this is permission to say, I hate this, and know that there is an automatic, instantaneous solution available to you if you stop trying and forcing. Let it go. Give it a rest. That is my message for you today. And my deep prayer and hope for you is that you let it go, make a clear ask of something that you want in life, and may it come into your life with joy and ease. So let me know in the comments on YouTube, message me on Spotify or on Instagram if you have an automatic solution that you are calling into your life. And I'd love to hear the story if it happens, if and when it happens for you. So thank you so much for listening to the show today. I truly appreciate you being here and partaking in this awesome world that I'm creating, and really inviting people to live a more intentional life. So thank you so much for watching or listening. I hope you have an absolutely awesome day.